I'm already loving the transition music, ladies and gentlemen. Early details after Bill Clinton has skipped Epstein deposition on Capitol Hill, moving to contempt of Congress charges for skipping class. Uh-oh. Ladies and gentlemen, you've played hooky, I imagine. I mean, I used to play hooky. I used to fake, like, mental disorders. I used to have, like, fake breakdowns on the, like, to my teachers in order to leave class early. That's, like, how good it was, where it was, like, I'm just not feeling it, right? And I'm just like, really? Like, I don't know. And I'm just like, I'm not feeling good. And it's like, I love it. And then eventually it was the peak 2010s, like late 2010s. So mental health was really prioritized. And if you just went to your like a counselor and said, it's like hard, man, it's like really hard, they just like let you have like a class off or something like that. Sometimes you just sit in the car, whatever. Everybody has their ways of playing hooky. No one is guilty of nothing. Let's be honest here. Unless you were like an elite ball student, you know what I mean? And you were just able to do it because you had all your grades in order. You have like, what are the early outs called? Where like you have all your classes done so you can leave early. One of those people, one of the really smart folk that has like all their shit in order and then just heads out middle of class. That's awesome. Anyways, I've played hooky many times. I'm sure you have too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the former president of the United States, President Bill William J. Clinton, he did not appear for a scheduled closed-door deposition on Capitol Hill yesterday, Tuesday, January 13th, as part of a House Oversight Committee investigation into the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Not very fun, right? The Republican-led committee chaired by Representative James Comer of Kentucky had subpoenaed Clinton along with his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, to testify about their past associations with Epstein. Why they wouldn't bother to maybe subpoena, I don't know, the president? That's a person that's like, he's there. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't know where Bill Clinton is. I don't know where he lives, but I kind of know, like, Pennsylvania Avenue. I know where the other guy is. This includes documented travels by Bill Clinton on Epstein's private plane in the early 2000s. Importantly, no one is accusing the former president of any wrongdoing. The committee is just simply saying they have questions about those connections. The subpoenas were originally issued last year and approved in a bipartisan vote by the committee, which we have to remember here. This was a bipartisan supported type of move. So I support the idea that no matter what you are, Democrat, Republican, we got to get your ass, looked at. You got to get a full colonoscopy if you were on the guy's plane. I'm not going to lie. It should be like a public tongue lashing by the Congress. That's what it is. I know that my description is vaguely gross, but it's true. That's like what public figures should have. It's like only they should appear in public if it's like people in the Senate giving them shit, and then we get Twitter moments from it. That's the only reason that any of these people should be appearing in public. Let's just review the exact clip. They have this camera focused right here. This is on X, the GOP Oversight Committee's channel, and it's just an empty chair with a name tag that says William J. Clinton and an undrank bottle of water with no logo, of course, because for some reason Congress hasn't gotten real and just started paying Ice Mountain or whoever.
Good morning. This is a deposition of former President William J. Clinton conducted by the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. On July 23, 2025, the Subcommittee on Federal Law Enforcement unanimously voted to approve a motion directing the committee to authorize and issue a subpoena to former President Clinton for a deposition. I'm going to note for the record that former President Clinton is not present. The time is 10:07. I will note that the time is now 10:10 and former President Clinton has still not appeared. Does the chairman wish to add anything to the record?
Yes. It's a shame President Clinton failed to appear in accordance with our duly authorized congressional subpoena. This subpoena, I might add, was voted on by the Oversight Committee in a bipartisan fashion. The Oversight Committee will now initiate contempt of Congress proceedings against the former president for defying the law.
Well, shit, Bill. After Clinton failed to show up for his Tuesday morning deposition, I mean, fuck. This is nuts. Apparently, Chairman Connor announced that the panel would move forward next week with proceedings to hold him in contempt of Congress. Hillary Clinton's deposition was set for today, Wednesday, and the committee has warned that she could face similar consequences if she also does not appear. In a strongly worded letter to Comer, the Clintons called the subpoenas invalid and legally unenforceable. Ooh, not great. I will say this, at least Trump shows up and turns himself in to take the mugshot. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe Hillary just doesn't want a cool t-shirt. Like, honestly, doesn't she realize that this would only help her aura if she had, like, a really badass mugshot? Maybe she can't mug for the camera quite as well. Because you got to be able to hit that, like, you know, the Zoolander kind of look when you stare him in the face. They stated that they've already provided what information they have in writing and argued that now is the time to stand up and fight for the country's principles. What? What does that have to do with not showing up? I mean, I'm a little confused. Let's just, what's it called? There's a clip right here of the people coming out and James Comer. He's going to just like give you a little quick update.
All right. I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. This was voted on by the entire committee in a unanimous vote of the House Oversight Committee to subpoena former President Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Now, Hillary Clinton's supposed to show up tomorrow. We'll see what happens there. But with respect to the former president, he did not show up today. One reason I think most Americans want President Clinton to answer some questions is because he visited the White House. Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House 17 times while Bill Clinton was president. I've been in Congress 9 years. I think I've been to the White House 9 times in 9 years. Epstein was in the White House double the amount of time that I was under one president.
Wow.
And then we know that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane somewhere around 27 times after the presidency. So no one's accusing Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. We just have questions, and that's why the Democrats voted along with Republicans.
Democrats, I don't know why they can't get a less dumb pronunciation. Most Republicans, they pronounce Democrats. I understand that Republican, Democrat, they just sound American and dumb when you say them out loud. I get that. I understand it. I just wish that maybe like they could, maybe it's because he's Southern. It's just his pronunciation. It doesn't sound very smart. I don't know. Southern accents, I don't associate them with being very high IQ. Then again, the British, they may hear me, and I would understand if anybody hears my accent and thinks, I know, like, who is this guy? He should be working at a steel mill outside of Duluth.
Bill Clinton. Not a single Democrat showed up today. I think it's very disappointing. As a result of Bill Clinton not showing up for his lawful subpoena, which again was voted on unanimously by the committee in a bipartisan manner, we will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt of Congress.
All right. Well, you can. I don't know how much he's going to like it. I don't know. He certainly does like having things held against him.
And former First Lady and Secretary of State Hillary Clinton say they will not testify before a House committee on the Jeffrey Epstein matter. That, of course, comes as today's the deadline for Bill Clinton to make that appearance. Former First Lady's deadline is tomorrow. A lot of photos of former President Clinton have surfaced in troves of documents recently released.
They're showing the hot tub photo where he's like laid back and shit like that. There's like someone censored and shit like that. Like I've continued to say, that what they don't know is that I'm under the water.
By the Justice Department. A Clinton spokesperson previously said the former president did not know about Jeffrey Epstein's
photos
crimes,
with Mick Jagger.
And went on to say that the Trump administration should release all files related to Mr. Epstein.
Damn.
I think everyone knows by now Bill Clinton did not show up. And I think it's important to note that this subpoena...
Oh my God. I didn't see this until I saw this clip, but the James Comer, the gentleman who's giving this press conference, has a woman standing next to him holding the painting that Jeffrey Epstein owned in his home, and it's a painting of Bill Clinton in a dress pointing at the camera, sitting in a chair. And if you're unfamiliar very much with the case, the situation with Monica Lewinsky, there was a very famous dress with a particular, I'm going to say, let's use the 18th century bleeding into the 19th century term for it, jism stain. there was a jism stain on it, and that was a key piece of evidence during the testimonial and the deposition. So that appears to be the dress that he is in. A lot of people, when we first found this painting, a lot of people thought it was Hillary's DNC dress from one of them, and it wasn't actually. We later confirmed that it was a reference to Monica Lewinsky's because of the cut and everything like that. I don't know, just a little side piece, a little, not side piece in that sense, but side piece and just something side to mention.
Was voted on in a bipartisan manner by this committee. This wasn't something that I just issued as chairman of the committee. We will move next week in the House Oversight Committee markup to hold former President Clinton in contempt.
CBS News congressional correspondent Nicole Killian live on Capitol Hill. So
fill us in, Nicole.
We got a little foretelling in that soundbite, Nicole.
Yeah, well, obviously, the chairman of the Oversight Committee, James Comer, made clear that the committee will move forward in holding former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady and Secretary of State, in contempt based on not showing up today. Now, obviously, in terms of Hillary Clinton, her deposition is scheduled for tomorrow, but there is expectation that she will not show based on the letter that she and her husband submitted to the House Oversight.
I want her to show up so bad in like a bonnet. Like, she shows up really like, you fuckers made me get out of bed. She shows up like she's going to Walmart or something like that. I really want her to show up maybe like half drunk, something like that. Like, leave her alone. What is she doing? You beat her so bad in 2016 that she has retired essentially from public life ever since then. She barely does anything nowadays. Name one recognizable thing. You can't because no one cares about her anymore. I'm just being honest. This is the only thing keeping her relevant right now. I'm sorry. I think that PR-wise, it would be a good move for her at least. Maybe not him, but for her at least to go and girl boss it up. Be like, my mans didn't do nothing. My mans isn't, because he was the first black president, so she's the first black vice president. She's like, my mans didn't do nothing. This is according to, he was so popular with the black crowd that they literally labeled him the first black president. You can look it up. It's true.
Committee and take a look at their rationale for not appearing today. They posted on X at the same time saying that this is not about right or left. It's about right or wrong. And in the statement to the committee, they said every person has to decide when they have seen or had enough and are ready to fight for this country, its principles, and its people, no matter the consequences.
I don't think she realizes when she says it's not a matter between right and left, it's a matter between right and wrong. It makes it sound like left got replaced by wrong, so the right is right. I'm sorry, it's not good. Whoever's their writer nowadays is just not giving them as good of content. It's just, it like collapses in on itself.
For us, now is that time. And so they went on to suggest that Chairman Comer was really using this process in a politically motivated fashion to try to embarrass them and bring them before the committee. They say they don't have much information to provide with respect to Jeffrey Epstein, and that in other instances they have either dismissed other witnesses or allowed them, for instance, to provide written testimony. So they simply saw this more as a political ploy. For his part, though, Chairman Comer said, look, this was a unanimous vote to subpoena the Clintons, and it was a bipartisan vote. So from that standpoint, he had every expectation that they, just like any other witness, should show up and be compelled to show up. So there certainly was some disappointment on the part of the chairman, which is why he says he and his panel will move forward with contempt.
Wow.
Live from Capitol Hill.
Thank you, Nicole. I forget your last name. Man, I don't know. How are you guys feeling about it? I'm nervous about the idea that they're just like, we don't know any explanation whatsoever. It's a curious reply. It's a curious whatever. Go into hiding. That's my best guess, because the Clintons, who cares anymore? That was the 90s. Do you guys not realize how long ago the 90s was? The 90s was 30 years ago in a lot of contexts. Most of the time it's 30 years ago at this point. Most of the time it's 30 years ago. It's like over half of the time it's 30 years ago. You can't go, oh no, it's only 20. It's only 20 years ago. No. Sorry, Unc, you're old and chopped. I'm sorry. Time is coming for all of us. It's coming for me next. You know what I mean?